What is up people, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be telling you 10 realistic things I want to see in Hogwarts Legacy 2. I say realistic because I feel like anybody that's done these lists immediately jumps to Quidditch or Diagon Alley, and while I'm not saying we shouldn't have them things, I feel like there's other smaller things that definitely could be changed and I'd like to see. So let's get into it. The first thing I'd like to see concerns gear slots. I'm sure everyone at some point now has seen this message. With 20 gear slots, which granted can be put up to 40 by doing a ridiculous amount of Merlin trials, it's really not a lot, especially when that has to be split between 6 different gear slots. It just creates a lot of unnecessary journeys to Hogsmeade or different fellers selling your gear off or scrapping it, especially at the start of the game when you don't have 40 slots unlocked, and it's just a bit annoying. So a lot more gear slots would be greatly appreciated. At least 20 or even 40 more would solve that issue completely. The second thing I'd like to see is staying on the topic of gear, and it's selling it. There is absolutely no reason why when I do fill up my 40 slots of gear, which fills up very quickly, that I have to sell each single thing individually. This is really something that should just be in this game, but it doesn't look like it's gonna be, so I'm asking for Hogwarts Legacy 2.
I suspect you have a sharp eye for fashion.
The third thing that I'd like to see is more purchasable items. Other than plants, potions and brooms, there's not really much. An example of this would be in Honeydukes at the back of the shop. There's some pepper imps. These are fire breathing sweets. I think it would be cool if for a couple of galleons you could buy these along with some jokes from Zonko's joke shop, and then put them in a wheel similar to the potions and plants one we have. This would then allow you to use them around the castle and in the common room, or even give them to students, and would just make the world feel a little bit more immersive and would be a cool feature to have. The fourth thing that I'd like to see is a change in the day and night cycle. I don't know how many times it's been night time and I've gone on my map to advance to day. I've done so and it's still night time. In fact, there was a redditor who timed day and night, and it showed that night time is roughly twice the length as day, which is why you constantly feel like you're running around in the dark, which is a bit annoying and I don't know why it's a thing. So that would be the fourth thing that I'd like to see. The fifth thing I'd like to see is pets. I know I said that this is a realistic list, but I feel like that's a realistic thing to look for, because we already have the bees feature in the game, which has similar mechanics to what we would expect with pets when it comes to brushing and feeding. I don't think it's necessary that they follow us everywhere in the world, because I don't know how realistic it is that my toad or cat would come with me to fight goblins or trolls. But even if they were restricted to just the Room of Requirement, Common Realm, or Hogwarts Castle and Ground, I feel like that would make a lot of people very happy and would be a cool feature to have, again making the world feel much more immersive and alive. The sixth thing that I'd like to see is more activities in the open world. Other than Merlin trials and treasure vaults, there's nothing that has any real substance to it, and I feel like that's being very generous to the two of them even saying that. I don't know what that would be, that's just me being honest, but I do know that there needs to be something, because it gets very repetitive outside of the story and side quests. I feel like a good game to take an example from is Marvel Spider-Man 2, which came out recently. That has activities in the open world which are small individually but have their own story and kind of get rocked up in the end, which I feel like makes them not as repetitive and fun to do. So that's my sixth thing. The seventh thing that I would like to see is more interaction with the world around us. This is a small thing, but I swear it makes such a big difference. You only need to look at Red Dead Redemption as an example. Please tell me why I cannot go to my common room and to my bed and lay down in it to switch from day to night or night to day, or just to lay down in my common room once again, and I can't sit down on a couch with other students or sit in a chair by the fire. Here's two Quidditch players passing a ball back and forth with their bats. If I could just hold a button and sub in and let an animation play, that would be great. Or go to the Grey Hall and eat some food at my table. You get the idea. Maybe the developers thought that this isn't that big of a deal and we're not making a Hogwarts Legacy simulator, but the reality is that this is what loads of people want to do. They don't want their character to be some lifeless robot that never needs to sit down and relax, or eat a bit of food, or go to a classroom with some of his classmates and just scribble on a piece of parchment paper. It would make the world feel so much more immersive, and I feel like everybody would be glad to see it in the next game. The 8th thing that I would like to see sticks to the immersive theme. I'd like to see an overhaul to the NPCs. Although I imagine it would be a bigger job, I think it needs to happen to just add some more soul into the castle and surrounding areas. I can't tell you how many times I've been making an ambience video and an NPC has just doubled back on the path they were just on, randomly out of nowhere. It just kind of makes things feel a bit weird. Another example of this would be heading into a classroom like I am here and seeing one singular student that's being terrorized by peeves, and other than that, there's nobody. There's not one other student mulling about, trying to figure out a potion, working at their station, reading a book. And over in the corner, we've just got Professor Sharp standing very close to a blackboard, staring at it. Why can't he be walking around the classroom, looking over a student menacingly like Professor Snape, or just helping another student out? There doesn't need to be a full classroom, but even 4 or 5 students would greatly improve things. The 9th thing that I'd like to see is more house specific content. When you think about how different each house is, there's nothing that really differentiates them in this game. You've got 4 house specific quests. Scratch that, because Ravenclaw doesn't actually get one. So you've got 3 house specific quests, one for Gryffindor, Hufflepuff and then Slytherin. So other than that, what is there? You've got the common rooms, but scratch that again, because you can do a glitch to get into everyone else's common room. So other than that, you've got a school robe, like a traditional robe that has the colour of your house on the hood, and a few different voice lines depending on which house you pick. I feel like the houses are such a big part of the Harry Potter / Hogwarts Legacy franchise, or at least they should be, and because of that there should be a lot more content. Again, I don't know exactly what that should be, but it should definitely be there. So the 10th and final thing I want to see in the next Hogwarts Legacy is more spells. I'm happy with the ones we got in this game, but I feel like if you're going to make another one, you're of course going to add more. And there can be some variety to them as well. So whether that be passive spells like Lumos Maxima, defensive spells like Expecto Patronum, funny spells like Slugulus Eructo, the spell Ron tries to use on Malfoy, or offensive spells like Incarcerus, the spell that Umbridge uses on the Centaurs. Any of these would be welcome additions along with many others. And that's my 10 realistic things I would like to see in the next Hogwarts Legacy. So if you did enjoy this video, please subscribe. Thanks very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.